Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to talk about Frenchie, a tier 10 French light tank, the Bat.Chat 25 ton that just received a buff. Basically, Wargaming touched two things, one of them being the accuracy and the second one being the reload time, which means that finally with the tank you get closer and closer to the mighty 3000 DPM gap. And to be fair, it's probably for the best because this tank truly deserved it. Before we jump straight into this review, and just in case you are a new player, this tank is not made for you because the Bat.Chat is literally a composition of every single hardest mechanic you can find into the game put into one single tank. You have an auto loader, which means that you are exposed when you are reloading your whole clip. You do not have any armor at all, and on top of that you have the problem of the gun elevation that nearly every single French tank struggles with. The fact that your gun elevation is quite poor, which means that from time to time, without even thinking about it, you're gonna get yourself blocked without the possibility of shooting anything. And on top of that, your crazy mobility makes you go a little bit too far from time to time. So obviously it's a great tank once you know how to master it. Personally, I do not like it, but I'm gonna try to stay as objective as possible in order for me to give you the best review out there. So let's summarize the tank. No armor, auto loader, plus a great mobility. So this is an explosive cocktail if you put it in the hands of the right player. And the right player of the day is Jenda Crab. Thank you for sending me this replay out, which is going to show us how to play this thing properly. So you see that he's going on the traditional position on this map, going at the top right corner allows you to get the shots you need. And you also see that he's trying to sneak some shells in the tracks of the T62A. This is one of the few things that you need to master with the Bat.Chat. You have 3 shells in the magazine with 2.5 seconds between shells, which means that you need to always shot the tracks of your opponents. Here, Jenda is trying it out and he's going for it. Bang, see you T62A, thanks for coming. He goes for one last shot on the Skoda before retreating. And there is something a little bit strange about his playstyle. I'm not strange, but I forgot to tell you, but the Bat.Chat, as it's equipped with an autoloader, is the kind of tank you don't want to go alone with, which means that you need to always be with someone. And of course, here it was the case at the beginning, because it's basically his friend that took all the shells, and now he's going alone on a rampage. I can totally understand it, but from time to time, it's gonna get you blocked, specifically here. Just take a look at what he did. He pushed totally alone that Skoda. If he waited for an allied that could have taken the shot for him, or maybe if he tried to relocate going to another position, he would have kept 1,000 hit points that can truly be useful in the rest of the game, because we're only in the game for 1 minute and 30 seconds, so you don't know if you're gonna need or not those hit points. Luckily for him, he's gonna reload before the Skoda, which will allow him to destroy the boy, but this is something I wouldn't have tried, and this is the kind of things you need to avoid doing with your Bat.Chat, otherwise you're gonna spend your hit points unwisely. But it's not gonna stop our friend to do one of the greatest games ever. There is the WZ. The WZ just shot. He knows that he has time to sneak some shells. He goes for a first one. Unfortunately, not on the track, not allowing him to sneak the greatest shots. But the WZ came back, allowing him to sneak another one. Of course, now he's kind of stuck. There is the 50B with him, and as long as the Hori is not trying anything, he's safe. But I suspect the Hori to be an AFK, because it's not logic that he's staying here. And now we have the confirmation of the information, because the Hori is not shooting at the 50B, which is a great indicator that the guy is either totally alone or just a bot. Bang, luckily fire on the boy, allowing him to sneak one shell on the WZ and securing his 3rd kill. Now you see that the Bat.Chat is all about circling. You wait for your opponents to be focused on one of your allies, and when they don't expect you, you strike. You are not here to take shots, you are not here to brawl on the first line, you are here to be sneaky like the vast majority of light tanks, and the Bat.Chat is no exception. Luckily for him, it worked here, allowing him to kill the Hori, to get the WZ killed, and now, at the end of the game, in those kind of situations, situations, you are the one that needs to spot for the rest of the team. He's taking some distances. Is he going to be able to sneak some shells on the 75? I don't know if he spotted because I didn't see the light on, but I think he is. So what he has to do now is going away. He was quite lucky on this one, stopping in the middle of nowhere. This is something you really want to avoid doing with the tank, because obviously when you take a look at what happened, the E75 missed him, the 50B missed him, and if both of those tanks did not miss, it was over for him. So he's doing a couple of mistakes that we can totally forgive here, but if you really want to have a uniform play style with the Bat.Chat and do some crazy damages and most importantly sustain on the battlefield, you really need not to stop on the middle of nowhere. You either stop because no one is looking at you and therefore you only have your shells to snap, or you move as fast as possible in order for them to miss you before doing anything and after you go in. So there we go, there is the type. The type did not manage to effectively counter the tactic of the Bat.Chat, resulting in him being dead. Here it was kind of a necessity for him to take that shot in order to be able to eliminate the Type 71, which is one of the most threatening tanks the game has to offer. But at the same time, now he's only a one-shot and it's extremely important for him to understand that and to be quite careful. And he's not necessarily too careful with the 50B here. He should have gone for one shot and after pull straight back. He's going a little bit too greedy on this one. And now he's talking about one of the things you are going to have to struggle with the Bat.Chat when you are going for an ace tanker. He's out of regular shell. The problem of the Bat.Chat is the lack of shell capacity. And on top of that, I see that this guy equipped his tank with 12 HE. In my opinion, it's a little bit too much. You should go for only 6, so half of them, in order to get 6 more in the AP section. Because obviously, when you have these kind of games, and specifically with these kind of tanks, you are not gonna shoot HE too much. It's not something that will happen a lot. So yeah, be careful about that and don't try anything. Once again, our friend is being a little bit too greedy. When someone is looking at you with the Bat.Chat and you are a one-shot for him, do not be greedy, guys. I can tell you that at one point you are going to regret it. There are few games where you're going to be lucky like this one, but in the vast majority of time, do not try something like that with the Bat.Chat. You are going to get snapped out of existence. Be extremely careful. But not to worry, because our friend still manages to do the right thing. He's going for a circle on the 50B. This way, they are taking him from both sides, which makes sure that even if one of them dies, at least the other one will be able to kill him. And now, finally, he's doing what I was expecting since the beginning of the game. He's taking some distances to be able to spot. He goes for an HE. First HE, second HE that missed. Oh, God, my gosh. You are lucky, man, Jenda. You should have get killed on this one. And you managed to get the shot. 5 kills, 7.7k damage. But some mistakes that could have been prevented by him being a little bit less greedy, specifically on that last shot. You got lucky, man, but you still deserve this crazy ace tanker. And on top of that, I just hope that you guys understand how important it is with the tank to be careful and not necessarily play too aggressively like our friend did here. It's important to know your limits, the limits being that you don't have any armor at all. Only spend your hit points when it's a necessity. And here, truly, in most cases, it was not the case. And now we're going to answer one last question. Is it worth getting the Bat.Chat knowing that you have much better light tanks like the Vickers or the Sheridan? In my opinion, no, but it can be original enough for you to enjoy it differently from the other tanks, because sometimes you don't play a tank because it's OP, you just play a tank because it's different. The Bat.Chat is one of those tanks. See ya.